It's Atlanta's only hip-hop station, Hot 107.9. Of course, you know it's your boy, B-High. And stepping in the building, man, I got a community activist, community leader, man. I'm talking about my dog, Terence, man. What's good with it, homie?
What's going on, B-High?
I mean, nothing much. I mean, now let's talk straight about this Love Beyond Walls.
Yeah.
How did that get started, and what is it all about?
Well, man, it's about raising awareness about issues that exist in communities. It's about telling stories that sometimes don't go heard. It's about mobilizing people to get involved in communities to create solutions to solve social problems. It all started back in December. Gave up almost a week of my life to live among homeless individuals right here in this city. Walked in their shoes, man, and just like grew an affinity for taking the love to the streets as opposed to having individuals come to a place. So with that, within a matter of 7 or 8 months, man, we've been able to mobilize a little over 2,000 people, raise over 30,000 items to resource individuals who are struggling with poverty and issues that are plaguing their lives. And we've been able to do some cool things like get homeless people off of the street, get people employment, and create a love army of volunteers, man, to kind of tackle problems.
Now, I am aware of that homeless thing that you did, man. In the streets, living. I mean, how was that whole experience for you? And what made you decide to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm about to go out here and get it and keep it real.
Yeah. It was one of the hardest times of my life. Literally not having anything. I mean, I could have tapped out at any moment and went home with my family, but it was rough. It was a lot of emotional pressure. It was a lot of battle and doubting and no rest. I think in 3 days I had only slept like 3 hours. Not 3 hours, but about 8 hours. I was up most of the time. It was hard being told no. I asked 427 people for $1. I only got $11. It was rough being stereotyped as I walked the streets because people identified me as a homeless individual. It was just a lot of pressure, man, and to see reality from a homeless man or homeless woman's perspective was eye-opening. It gave me a chance to look deeper into the realities of people who are plagued with poverty, people who are falling on hard times, man, and people who just can't get a break.
What were some of the things that you really took away from there in experiences? I know you were out there. Was it the weather that was getting to you? Was it the fatigue from walking that was getting to you? I mean, what were some of the things that you were really thinking to yourself, you know what, I don't understand how people do this on a daily basis?
Right. The weather got to me, man. It was a few nights it got down to in the 20s. Not having enough clothing or resources to keep warm. Man, I remember standing outside with a group of homeless individuals I call friends, and we created a fire out of donated resources. Like, we had to burn clothes and trash to keep warm for a few hours. One night I slept in the restroom, that night, just to make it through the night. And the restroom was filthy. Not being able to shower or even have access to like public water, man. I would go into places walking with homeless individuals, and we would get put out like instantly. It wasn't an afterthought. But also learn that everybody who's homeless isn't a drug addict or they really don't have a mental health issue. Some people just fell on hard times. I remember being out there with 2 individuals in particular, a lady and her son, man. It was 18 years old. A lady had just gotten laid off of her job. She just couldn't pay the bills, and she didn't have Donald Trump for a uncle or Mark Zuckerberg to loan her some cash. And the last resort was going to the streets, man. And when you think about things from that perspective, like that strips down your stereotypes and your prejudices, because you get the chance to see an individual based upon their story as opposed to seeing an individual based upon how society typecasts people.
Now, I also understood that you did the closet strike.
Yeah, man.
I mean, how was that for you? Because I know you're wearing the same outfit every day. You're going to the mall, you're going to go get something to eat. You're going to church, and you're in the same outfit.
Yeah. If I had to, categorize all the awareness campaigns that we've done, I would say Closet Strike was the most, the weightiest campaign that I've done, because psychologically, having to wear the same outfit for 90 days straight, and I worked out in that outfit. I went to all my meetings. I was invited to a black tie gala. Everybody there were in suits and things, and I had on that outfit. I won an award. Everybody's decked out on the red carpet. I'm in that outfit. And I was typecast. I was stereotyped, and just the clothes. My shoe started falling apart. There are pictures online where literally the shoe was starting to fall apart. I had to use tape. My clothes were shrinking. I mean, it was just emotionally heavy, man, because after day 21, it was just like another day. And then when day 45 came around, I'm like, man, I got 45 more days. Day 63 came around, I'm like, man, I still got 17 more days. So it was just like the same thing over and over and over again, and it started to weigh on me, man, a little bit. Cool story though. Day before yesterday, this lady comes over to our office space in College Park, and she has 7 kids with her. Her gas hand was nearing E. Somebody had just given her enough money to put a little gas in her tank. She had just moved from Tennessee, and she said, somebody told me that you guys were over here. And I just ran from a domestic abuse situation, and I'm trying to get my kids in school, and they're a week late, but they need uniforms and book bags. Well, it just so happens that I ended Closet Strike on August 1st, and we raised a bunch of uniforms for under-resourced kids who wear the same thing every day because their families are struggling with poverty. And it felt really great to know that our organization exists, because I was able to go back to the back and resource every single one of her children with the uniforms they needed to start school, because they literally had nothing. And 3 days before that, we had a business, Voya Investments, shout out to Voya, that donated over 100 book bags to our organization just out of the blue. When people give, not only are we resourcing the individuals who are struggling with poverty in the community, but we're also telling their stories in such a way that people understand and are educated about some of the struggles that exist.
Now, what are some of the other awareness campaigns that you got on the way right now?
I got an awareness campaign coming up. It's going to be probably one of my, I would say, most daring campaigns ever. Because I'll use it to raise awareness about unemployment. I won't give all of the details, but we're going to use this campaign to create an opportunity in the space where we can raise awareness about the jobless in this state. I just read an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that said Georgia ranked 50th on the list for unemployment, and that's right before Mississippi. And we beat out Mississippi by 0.2%. So if you can imagine a long list, we're down at the bottom of how many people we're employing with jobs. And, I have a strong passion to create not only opportunities where people can become educated about people struggling with poverty, but, what are we going to do in the future about creating jobs so those people can have a hand up and not just a handout. So that campaign is going to raise a lot of awareness about the jobless in the state of Georgia. Yeah,
I can definitely dig that. Now, I mean, a pressing issue right now is the Michael Brown case.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And I mean, what can we do to better help young black males to prevent this from happening again with us?
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that on the way over here, and first of all, is very disheartening about what happened, and another family loses a young man to violence, even if it's from an authority figure, and it's just something to be said about that, because I believe no matter what authority position you hold, whether it's law enforcement or the government or whatever, you have a role and responsibility to steward that position, no matter what color you are, with integrity. And it's a lot of people who are hurt about that situation. Another thing too, man, is dehumanizing. When African American kids turn on the TV, the only time we see kids is, like here recently, is when they're slain and dead in the streets, and that can become suppressing and even oppressive to a lot of the kids who aspire to be doctors or lawyers or whatever. Another thing is, man, it's a disaster because it's created a lot of chaos where we've seen the riots, we've seen other people get shot in Missouri, we've seen the tear gas and all of those things, man. And I think one of the things that has caused that is because people haven't had a voice. And anytime a person or a people group haven't had a chance to express themselves in such a way, sometimes the first reaction is to turn with anger. But that's not the solution. We've seen that that is not, it's not making anything better, man. I think to like help youth, we gotta teach them how to discover their voice. We gotta rebuild our communities, knowing that there are a lot of young people in communities who need programming and people to spend tangible time with them in the communities to build them up and help them discover their identity. And then we need to like direct our youth. When we turn on the television, man, there are not many images that are giving our youth a clear path, man. So I think to create a solution, we need to just start investing and spending more time with our young people in community and not make it about disastrous events. We need to do it more, like every single day,
Exactly.
every week. We need to be thinking about.
I look at it and I think about Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And I see that the community is, everybody's getting together, standing up for a cause, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, and I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
But what I want to see us do is do that on a daily basis, just like you said.
Yeah.
When somebody in our neighborhood gets murdered,
Right.
but not by the hands of police, but by the hands of each other.
Yeah.
Because, all of us in here have friends that have passed and died to gunshots that
Right.
didn't come from police officers. And in those cases, many a times, those people that did commit those murders have never been caught.
Right.
So with that being said, we also have serial killers running around in our neighborhoods that we need to really get justice to. So that's a scary thing in itself. You're worried about the police killing people,
Right.
but personally, I'm more worried about us killing each other. And I think that also boils down to the fact that young black men don't have any hope.
Right.
People are growing up, they don't know exactly what they can be when they grow up. They don't know how to go about becoming something when they grow up. And they find themselves just angry and frustrated at the same time, because you're looking up, the police are treating you any kind of way.
Right.
Your friends, you look around, your mama wasn't able to, reach the goals that they wanted to reach. You don't know where your father is.
Right.
So that leaves you with a sense of emptiness and hopelessness that causes you to lash out on your fellow people in the hood.
Right.
And then you have to join gangs because that's the only place that you can find love and camaraderie.
Right.
And besides that, we play basketball or football or something like that. So my main thing is, how can we find ways to hit this community and let these young men know that somebody does care and that there are other options besides picking up a gun, shooting somebody, robbing somebody, picking up some dope, and selling some drugs.
Right. Man, I was doing work in a local middle school, and I was talking to the school counselor. And there are some community programs there where they give young men an opportunity to come play sports on the weekends, but there's some chess clubs and things like that. And she said that we put out a blast to parents about these opportunities, beckoning men to come and get involved, to be there and be present, kind of provide that mentorship. And she said only 2 guys showed up for over 200 young men. And when you think about it, I mean, you raised the issue about fatherlessness. You know, a father is supposed to be the provider, you know, the direction giver, you know, that voice of comfort and affirmation. And when fathers aren't present, it creates so many different disastrous things. You know, it creates room and opportunity for a young man to literally listen to things that could misguide him. You know, and I think there are probably tons and tons of great programs out there. I think it starts with men getting involved and lending their voices and their wisdom, even from their own personal failures, to give some direction and guidance, man. Because if I'm going down the street and, you know, I've been in the pothole, it's just like what I think Cosby said it, you know, I'm going to come back and tell another young man, don't go down this street. It's a pothole down here, man. It's going to cause an accident, and it may paralyze you where you're stuck. So I think we need more guys stepping up to the plate, telling even their personal stories about the potholes that they've experienced, so we can give some guidance to young men.
Now, Terence, how can people reach you, contact you, and get down with the Love Beyond Walls movement?
Yeah, man, simple. Love Beyond Walls, everything on social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We respond to all messages, or you can visit us online at lovebeyondwalls.org. And click the contact link, man. You shoot an email, and we'll get back with you. We're out in the community serving 3 times a month, and we invite large groups to come out and serve with some of our community service projects. But also, man, we have things going on daily. We're raising specific items on a monthly basis. We're working in the community on a day-to-day basis to help people with their social needs and things like that, man. So we always need volunteers to come out and get involved. Yep.
Bet it up.
Yeah.
Well, Terence, appreciate you coming through this thing, homie. Wish you nothing but the best and much success. Beehive Radio, shout it. It's out 107.9, man. Let's go.